Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about research and citation. But for this video, what we're actually going to be really talking about is more of the specifics of how we cite sources. Now, what does it mean to cite a source? I want to get pretty ambitious with this YouTube lecture. I want to cover a pretty good variety of topics. Let's start with this. When we're doing research and we're getting ideas from other things, whether they be an interview we've conducted or a magazine article we've read, or a scholarly article from Galileo, which some of you have had the library representative come in and talk to you, some of you have not. So you might have a little bit better an understanding of this after that. When you get ideas that aren't yours, whether they're statistics, whether they're dates or quotes, you can't just take those and put them in your writing. You've got to cite them and you've got to give credit. Most of the time, and now that MLA has changed, you can get away with just indicating in the text, hey, I got this from here, especially if it's from the internet. I'll explain to you guys a little bit more detail in class what you need to do if you have a book, because there's some technical issues with that. But for the most part, when you're writing, you can just say, according to Time Magazine, according to this or this, and you're pretty much covered. But I'm sorry, I have to have coffee during this. We have in papers something we call a bibliography. And what MLA? An MLA is this thing that determines the rules that we use when we write. The bibliography, or the works cited page as it's also called, is a place where at the end of your paper you give your reader information so that they know how to find whatever it is you used. Now remember, this is a research project, so everyone in here is going to need a bibliography. They're going to need a works cited page. Now, I'm going to include a couple of examples under this video of what these bibliographies actually look like. They're a nightmare to write. They are really, really not fun to write. Just, God, they're bad. Because they're very, how do I put this? They're very specific about what types of punctuation you use. Sometimes you use a period here, use a comma here, sometimes you space here, sometimes you italicize, sometimes you use quotations. I'm probably making your head spin right now, and that's okay because I didn't really understand this stuff till I got in grad school, so it is a nightmare to teach it. Well, the good news is that in the modern world, we now have tools that we use that does this for you. And often, if you go to the library and you talk to Ben Bryson or Charla, they will help you out with this stuff if you're really confused. But what I want to do is I want to introduce you to a tool that will help you write bibliographic entries. And it's pretty easy to access, and that's the first link I'm going to put down under there. It's called Easybib.com. Easybib will help you write a citation. Don't worry about doing an actual example of this. We're going to go over it in class, but I want you to be familiar with this website before you actually get into class. If you simply click on the easybib.com link below this video, it will take you to a page. There's an auto cite bar there that is supposed to automatically generate a citation for you. Don't use that. I've seen those do some very strange things. What I want you to do instead, and follow along with me for a minute, take a look around on that website. You'll notice that in that little blue box near the top, website is already highlighted. This is a good place to start because a lot of you probably will get away with the website template. What I want you to do is look around that little blue box there. Look for the button that says Manual Entry. Manual Entry. If you need to pause this video and look for it, go ahead. I can wait. Well, anyway. Click Manual Entry for me real quick. What you're going to see there, and this is the basic website template. And again, I'm going to teach the website template because this is the one that most of you are probably going to end up using at some point or another. Now, if you scroll around on this page with the manual entry, it has a lot of things that it's asking for. Source type. You want to think really long and hard about what it is you're citing. Most of the time, content published on a web page, which is the default, the one that's already there, you can get away with using that. But there are others. If you click that drop down menu, you'll see a lot of stuff on there. If you really want to be detailed with this, see if whatever it is you're citing comes up on that little drop down menu. And again, feel free to pause this video at any moment if you want to explore this website. Then we have the article title. Let's do an experiment real quick. Follow along with me. In the article title, I'm going to, let's say we found an article somewhere. Let's say it's on cnnmoney.com. Mr. Bailey is the greatest professor ever. Yeah, I like that. It has a nice ring to it, right? Type Mr. Bailey is the greatest professor ever. Put an exclamation point on the end of it, just so, you know, it deserves it. Now, that's the title of the page that we're citing. That's the article. Now, contributors. A lot of stuff you're going to find online doesn't have an author. A lot of times you can leave this blank, but look carefully. If you see someone's name at the bottom of the page, if you dig hard enough, sometimes you can find one. But if you'll notice on that author, you have a first, a middle initial, last. But it says last/corp. Corp is actually short for corporation. Sometimes corporations will release corporate documents. Let's say this is a corporate document from CNN. Now, CNN might actually have a publishing group. And again, you have to do some digging. So we'd actually have to find this article and really look at it to figure out who the corporate author is. But let's just pretend for a minute that the corporate author of this piece is CNN. Put CNN in there in all capital letters. So, all right, good. Now, website title. I've already mentioned the website title to you. It came from cnnmoney.com. Type cnnmoney.com in there. Good. Now, publisher sponsor, again, that requires a lot of digging. I would say a good percentage of the time, you're actually not going to need to put anything in there, especially if it was from a corporate author. But if you find it, you can hammer in whatever you see. And for this class, what I'm really gauging you for is that you're filling this thing out competently and you are producing these citations. They don't have to be perfect yet. This gets much, much more important when you get into English 1101 and you start getting into higher level courses. What I just want from you now is a familiarity. If you can show me you can use this website, I'm going to be pretty happy with it. So let's leave publisher sponsor blank. There's a little bit of a fight among English teachers right now. I know, we actually fight about this stuff, believe it or not. We can't decide whether we want you to include the URL or not. And the URL, if you look at the top of your browser, you'll see a little web address up there. That's a URL. Me personally, I like URLs. I think they're good to have because documents are becoming more electronic. And it's cool to be able to get that URL and go straight there. So let's say the URL, and you can kind of hammer in something if you want. Let's say it's http://cnnmoney.com/Bailey Rocks. And I'm actually going to give you guys the form of this citation below this video so you can see how it ended up looking. And if you want to play with this to see if you can make it generate a citation like what I did, that's perfectly fine too. Electronically published, let's say it was published May 5th. And I'm just filling this out for May 5th, May 5th, 2011. I've been cool for a long time. Date access. And let me back up for a minute. For the date published, you're not always going to see a publication date. You will most of the time. Not always, but you just look as hard as you can for it. Date access, that's simply the date that you found it. Let's say today. What is today's date? June 7th. So 7 June 2012. That's pretty much it. Now, one of the things we're going to do next week is I'm going to ask you to bring in a piece of research. And in fact, that's what I'm telling you to do right now. You've already been thinking about research. Go online, find something that talks about your topic. It could be a web page, it could be anything, because this is just kind of an exercise. One of the things we're going to do next week is we're going to play with Easybib, and we're going to see what we can do with it. So, I filled out a citation here. I'm going to include below this video some more links about citations, what they look like, how they work. I'm going to give you a quick idea as to what the next assignment's going to be. The next assignment is an annotated bibliography. What that means is you're going to go and find a website, and from that website, you're going to create one of these citations by filling this form out, and it's going to give you this nice little pretty entry, and it's going to do all the work for you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to write a summary about that website, telling me what it says, how it works. Now, this might seem daunting to you because I'm going to want 5 of these, and that's going to end up probably being around 3 pages. I promise you, this assignment is a lot easier than you think it is. You just have to practice, and you just have to get into this summary mode of writing, and you need to get comfortable with Easybib as well. So I'm going to end this for now, and we're going to practice with this next week. Thank you very much. Also, look for an assignment on Angel in some form or fashion. It's not going to be related to this video, but I really shouldn't say that because now I can't use this video anymore. You know what? Let's just pretend the last 10 seconds didn't happen. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend.